The Padres had a chance to respond after last night's gut punch, and instead, they got punched again. Fernando Tatis Jr. gives the Padres life with a moonshot home run in the third inning, but that was it. 6 hits, 1 run. They hit into 3 inning-ending double plays, just like they did last night. And while today's loss, nowhere near as much of a heartbreaker, still another loss for the Padres. The Royals take the series, and this is your Padres postcast. It starts right now.
This is the Padres Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Diego Padres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Que pasa, Friar faithful? Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Another tough one today for the Padres. 6-1 the final. They gave up 2 two-run homers. Griffin Canning, Matt Waldron. Oh, my Lord, these pitchers. Why are they still in the big leagues? Because the Padres don't have anybody else, and the offensive ineptitude continues. And last night, look, you take that huge lead late in extra innings, and then you blow it in the bottom half, and Kyle Hart and Griffin Canning and Matt Waldron and, oh, man, German Marquez is pitching tomorrow. It is just dreadful for the Padres right now. 6-1 the final, as we mentioned. Canning tagged, missed chances, hit into the double plays, early hole, and they never dug out.
This is what you'll be talking about.
The Royals win at 6-1, clinch the series. The Padres drop to 48-50, miss another opportunity to climb back to 500. This one felt over almost immediately. Lane Thomas, 2-run homer in the first inning. Fernando answers with a solo blast in the third to make it 2-1. You're thinking, all right, Canning was okay early on, and he was coming off a couple of decent starts in a row, emphasis on decent before people get too carried away, right? But the Padres never really seriously threatened again. Well, they actually had a couple of threats going, right? 6 hits, 1 run, 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, 7 left on base, 2 more big-time rally-killing double plays. Bases loaded, 1 out, they don't score. First and second, nobody out, bases loaded, 1 out, they don't score again, and the 3-start stretch for Canning that we thought, hey, maybe we got a little bit something to build on here like we thought with Walker Buehler. But as is the case with back-of-the-end pitchers who can't really pitch in the major leagues, it all starts to average out, and Griffin Canning was Griffin Canning, the first version. Again, today, the Royals executed better in every phase. They made play after play. They made the double plays when they needed to, and now the Padres playing to avoid a sweep instead of to win a series, and last night was rough because you had already used Morejon and Miller, and you don't go 2 innings with Miller. You come out with Kyle, blame it on my wild heart. You think you're good with a 3-run lead. It's 6-3, and you're like, all right, just don't give up 4 runs, dude. What does he do? What does he do? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That's what he does. That's what Kyle Hart does. That's what Griffin Canning does. That's what Walker Buehler does. That's what German Marquez does. That's what Matt Waldron in the Cauldron does. That's what every single pitcher they have put at the back of the rotation has done. Pavetta's been out a long time. King has not pitched like an ace. No Musgrove, no Darvish, no Padres. 6-9 and none for the Royals. 1-6 and none for the Padres. Again, Fernando solo homer in the third, the only run they scored in this game. Royals got 2 in the first on Lane's 2-run homer. They scored 1 in the third inning on Caglianone's double, scoring Jensen. They got an RBI single from Collins in the fourth and a 2-run homer from Salvador Perez in the sixth. Lynch with the win in 2 innings for the Royals, and will never be Royals. No, they won't be. Griffin Canning won't be. 1-8. Why is he still in the big leagues? He should be bagging groceries by now. Am I out of line to say that? 3 2/3, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. The 2-run homer over and over. The guy's 1-8, man. He can't pitch. Get him out of here. Bring anybody up. Give them a chance, But between Sears and Canning and Waldron and Buehler and German Marquez, I know Giolito Lopez. Lucas Giolito. Why do I keep saying Giolito? Lucas Giolito. What between all of them don't equal up to one good pitcher. All of them don't equal up to anything, and they've tried every single one of them. There's nothing you can do. Canning was awful. The Waldron Cauldron, 2 1/3. 2 earned runs on the 2 hits. Marinaccio and Brito with scoreless inning each, but by then the outcome was long decided, and Fernando goes 1 for 2. He's on base a bunch of times, hits a home run. Nobody else except Ty France and Cronenworth did anything. Cronenworth 2 for 4. Ty France, of course, has been hitting pretty well lately. He was 2 for 3 again today, but Manny 0 for 3, including a soul-crushing double play that he hit into that we'll get into in a minute. Xander 0 for 3 is hitting .222. They owe him $25 million a year for the next 7 years. Manny and Xander and Fernando, those contracts, right? So I saw an article yesterday that was basically the gist of it was, should the Padres trade Mason Miller just to get rid of Xander Bogaerts? These are the kinds of conversations we are forced to have right now about our San Diego Padres, and it just is not any fun, but they can hit, right? They have no starting pitching. They have no clutch. I mean, late in games, they've been all right. They've won some games late, so I can't say they have no clutch. I'm getting carried away when I do that, but this is what happens when you lose all year, right? And we're not used to this. You're 2 games under 500. You were in first place in mid-May after a 1-0 win by reporters, clock producers, Jock. They wanted to be down with the King, not anymore. Michael King, a 1-0 win over the Dodgers in the first game of that series, took the division lead in May. And in the last 2 months, the wheels have come off, the suspension, the chassis, the fenders, the windshield, everything's come off for the Padres these last couple months. Injuries have been a small part of it, but come on, man. Pivetta, you know what I mean? And Musgrove coming off the major injury, and Darvish with the injuries he had. Pivetta would have made a difference in a couple of wins, and maybe he could have stopped the streak or two. I think. By the way, if he doesn't make a start by mid-August, the Padres can void the last 2 years of his deal too. And I think that's $15 million a year. But he's been your best pitcher the last 2 years. It's hard to say that now. You look at what Cease is doing in Toronto, right? But Michael King has not pitched like an ace for $25 million. You needed him to be a world beater for that money if you had a shot. And he hasn't been. He had a couple of really good games, a couple of big 1-0 wins. And look, he has that ability. Hasn't been able to put it together. Just hasn't. But when it comes to today's game, the Padres had opportunities, not that many. Now, I'm not going to go crazy and say they put themselves in position all day long to do well, because they really didn't. They actually really didn't. But let's take you through the rundown real quick. I mentioned 6-9-0 for the Royals, 1-6-0 for the Padres. Top of the first, Fernando led off with a walk. He was on base all day. Merrill, what else is new? Strikes out. Bogaerts, what else is new? Strikes out. Manny walks. He walks a lot. 2 walks, 2 on. Guess what? 2 on. Sheets flies out to right. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 left on base. 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. 7 left on base tonight. Royals didn't waste any time taking advantage. Jensen with a leadoff single over the tomato can. Griffin Canning. Then Bobby Witt Jr. strikes out swinging. And then a line out. But then here comes Lane Thomas. 420-foot home run to left center. 2-0 Royals. And you can't get out of the first inning without putting your team in a hole. Your name might be, well, it actually might be any of those guys who have been in the back end of the rotation this year. But today it was Griffin Canning, 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors. And if it sounds like I'm being hard on Canning, I am. You're supposed to be a major league pitcher. Emphasis on supposed to be, because you are not a major league pitcher, Griffin Canning. You might be from the standpoint that you're taking up a spot on a big league roster on a team that can't find anybody to put in that position, but you are not a big league pitcher. Top of the second for the Padres, they get a 1-out double from Cronenworth. Nothing after that. No runs, 1 hit, right? There's another runner left in scoring position. You get that's 3 left on base, 2 in scoring position. We haven't even hit the bottom of the second inning. Somehow Canning gets out of the second, infield single, and then he gets 2 strikeouts. Good job by Canning there, I suppose. I'm reluctant to give him credit for anything because he doesn't deserve it at 1-8. Top of the third for the Padres, Fernando leads off with a homer, cuts it to 2-1, 1 run on 1 hit there. Merrill hit a ball hard to right field, but right at the right fielder in that inning as well. Bottom of the third, the Royals take that run right back. Caglianone with a double, scoring Jensen, who led off with a walk. And, of course, at this point, their best player, Witt's 0 for 2. But Jensen doing it again, starting the inning off with a walk. Got a base hit in the first inning. And then Caglianone's the one who drives him. And this time, not Thomas, a run on a hit. Makes it 3-1 Royals. Will never be Royals. France with a 1-out double in the fourth. Guess what? They left him in scoring position too. I see London. I see France stuck on second base with nobody to drive him in. Bottom of the fourth, Griffin Canning gives up more, right? He gives up a 1-out walk to Massey, right? And then with 2 away, he gives up the RBI single to Collins. And then Waldron comes in, and Collins gets caught stealing. And then you start the 5th inning. Top of the 5th for the Padres. this is one that really stung for San Diego. And again, we'll get to all the accolades a little bit later on. No, accolades, but benchmarks, right? So anyway, the Padres in the top of the fifth. Freddie Fermin, the former Royal, got a nice ovation from the Kansas City fans, but he's not doing anything offensively for the Padres, although he hits a ground rule double. Little resurgence playing in his old stadium, right? Fernando with a walk. First and second, nobody out. Jackson Merrill, another hard hit ball, this time to left field. It's a line out. Xander walks, bases loaded, one out. Again, bases loaded, one out, and Manny, why you bug? And he's been clutch lately. He's had some big hits lately before the break, but double play, one of three they grounded into tonight to end an inning. And again, they leave more runners on base, more in scoring position. They can't hit with runners in scoring position, and they would not be done with this theme yet. Bottom of the fifth, Waldron gets him 1, 2, 3. Top of the sixth, a double for France with one away. Guess what happens there? A bunt single for Jake Cronenworth. France goes to third. First and third, one away. And Duhar grounds into a double play. And it was a beautiful play by Bobby Witt Jr. by going to his backhand, making an incredible play on that ball. No runs, 2 hits, but more runs left on base, more runners, and more runners left in scoring position. Bottom of the sixth, the Royals would put it away. Thomas pops out to first. Pasquantino with one out, singles to right off Waldron. Salvador Perez reminds us who he's facing. It's the Cauldron, Matt Waldron. 2-run shot, 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Royals. They're up 6-1 at this point. Top of the seventh, the Royals relievers making the Padres look like they're not even there. They go 1, 2, 3 in the seventh. Royals, bottom of the seventh, threatened. Jensen with a 1-out double. Marinaccio pitches out of it. Way comes in for the Royals. Bogarts, Manny, Sheets, 1, 2, 3. Manny and Sheets strike out back-to-back swinging. Bottom of the eighth for the Royals, a leadoff double for Thomas off Johnny Brito, and he gets the rest of the inning taken care of. No runs on, 1 hit. Then the top of the ninth, meekly go the Padres. France with the leadoff walk. Cronenworth pops out the shortstop on a half/check swing that didn't even look like he knew what he wanted to do. And then Duhar grounds into his second double play of the game. And, you know, Doc say it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And the Padres lose this one 6-1. They lose the series. They're 2 games under 500 now. And we are 2 minutes over the break. So I'm going to take that break real quick now, come back, give you the box score real quick. We'll give you the player of the game, the X factor, who fudged up the second guess. I mean, I'm starting to really feel for Craig Stammen. I might check myself into a mental institution if I were him at some point here in the near future. I might check myself in. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. It's your Padres Postcast, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're live on YouTube after every game. Then we upload, you download Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Amazon, Stitcher, Podbean, you name it, wherever you get your podcast. And of course, Roku, you down with OTT. Yeah, you know me. I'm down with anything at this point that will get us a win. Keep it here. And we get a chance to welcome a new sponsor to the network and to this show for the first time this week. Before we get into today's show too far, right? We got the second segment coming up, but it's time for the Everyday Icon presented by Stance. As the official sock partner of Major League Baseball, Stance knows greatness isn't built in a single moment. It's earned over time through consistency, preparation, showing up every day. That's why each week we're recognizing one player whose performance embodies those same qualities. This week's Everyday Icon is Fernando Tatis Jr. His defense has been stellar always. He's been hitting like a madman these last couple of months. Had the homer today and a really good job by Fernando, but he was the only one. Today had 3 hits last night too, Fernando did. So, you know, he is the Everyday Icon presented by Stance. Check out the Icon collection from Stance. Premium comfort, performance, and durability designed for whatever your day brings. Use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for 20% off your purchase. Stance, the official sock partner of Major League Baseball. Learn more at stance.com. Next up, you guys know about Nutrafol. Baseball players known for their routines, Padres for losing this year. Whether it's a lucky jersey, a pregame ritual, or sticking to the same preparation every day, consistency matters. And when it comes to hair thinning, there can be a lot of products out there making promises, but not always a lot of confidence behind them. That's why more people are looking for solutions backed by real science and trusted experts. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement and the official hair growth partner of Major League Baseball. What really makes Nutrafol stand out It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, right? It's designed to fit into your routine while addressing the root causes of thinning with personalized solutions just for you. And I'll tell you what, confidence in your daily routine. Every day I roll out of bed, I drink my water with my lemon and my salt, I take my walk, I read my book, I have that morning routine. You know, that confidence you get looking and feeling your best. One thing I've learned, the little things you tend to do every day, they add up. You know what I mean? Like I said, getting enough sleep, taking care of yourself, having a routine, making you feel confident, that can make a huge difference in your life. So what you're going to do, you're going to find out why Nutrafol is the only hair growth supplement brand trusted by MLB. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners, viewers of this show, $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter the code LOCKEDONMLB for Nutrafol. Nothing like watching a Padres game. Is this cruel or what? Even better when you get to watch it live at Petco, best stadium in the league. The excitement, the fans, we hope more wins. The only problem, getting tickets can feel like a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's where there's Game Time. The Game Time app giving you, the fan, the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Simple to use. The Game Time guarantee gets you 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Are you ready? Are you ready? Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. I love that. I also love the seat views feature. It's huge. I can see the panoramic view from my exact seat before I buy. How about this? Zone deals. You pick the section, save even more while Game Time selects the seat. You can follow your favorite team, the Padres, and get alerts when new deals drop. I've seen some tickets drop as low as $10. 2 taps, and it's done. No stress, no hidden fees, just great seats in minutes. That's what makes it so easy to decide last minute to hit up a game. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create the account, redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today for Game Time on the Locked On Podcast Network. And finally, support for today's episode comes from Indeed Sponsored Jobs. That's right. When workplace chaos hits and you need the right hire, Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps connect employers with candidates who match specific needs like skills, certifications, location, things like that, right? So less time gets spent searching and more time gets spent finding the right fit. People are finding quality hires on Indeed right now. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's deadlines piling up too much on one person's plate or trying to scale something quickly, the right person can completely change how a team operates. And that's why getting in front of qualified candidates matters. So spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less time, less stress, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners, viewers of this show, you're going to get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs on the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. And your team, your pods, your Friars, every day. All right, it's Greece. It's the postcast. That's a long break. The sponsorships are doing well. We love it. Thank you to those companies for supporting us. Thank you, everydayers, right on down to the newbies, for being here. Padres get smoked 6-1 today. I mean, the new owner, no, it's not the new owners, Tom. It's the fact that A.J. Preller has left the farm system barren for this win-now approach and all these trades. And, you know, you look at the All-Star game, Soto was there. Wood and Abram were there. Dylan C. You know what I mean? So, no, I mean, they've traded the wrong people. They've made the wrong deals. They've brought in the wrong people at times, you know. And it's hard to say that. I mean, look, he traded for Mason Miller last year. No one would have argued with the Manny and the Fernando deals. Jackson Merrill seemed like a steal at the time coming off that rookie year. And Bogarts, so many people wanted Bogarts, man. It's tough to say. So, look, that's the cruel irony of this business, man. AJ Preller's the guy on the hot seat. You can't say it's Stammen in year one. What is he doing? I mean, the musical lineups and the bullpen and everything. And yeah, he could have left Miller in for a second inning last night, but he had a 3-run lead. You don't think Kyle Hart's going to go up there and give up a 4 spot? I mean, he is Kyle Hart, but he's been good this year. Not great. He's been good. Much better than last year. He's all right in that role. You're thinking just get through, save the bullpen. You want to win this series. It's a big road trip. Completely blows up in his face because Kyle Hart couldn't get the job done. That's not Stammen's fault. It's not Preller's fault. It's Kyle Hart's fault. At some point in America, we have to learn that people need to take responsibility for what they do. Yes, Preller. Yes, Stammen. They need to take responsibility for their actions. But come on, man. Stammen's not the one throwing those pitches. Kyle Hart was. Griffin Canning was tonight. You know, they're not out there, Preller and Stammen, going 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, leaving 7 guys on base, hitting into double plays, and Duhart twice, Manny once in big situations. It's not those guys doing it. So there, it is what it is. But real quick before we bounce, like Mickey Mouse, I have to get to a couple things real quick here. Looking at the box score for the Royals, 2 hits for Thomas, including the 2-run homer. Jensen was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored to lead them offensively. And, of course, on the mound, Dobnak goes 4, 1 earned run on, he walked 4, gave up 4 hits. The Padres had 8 base runners in 4 1/3 innings to start the game. They get 1 run, and it's not a solo home run leading off an inning. So they get nothing by Fernando. So they get nothing. You're talking 8 guys on base, 7 because the home run, 7 guys on base in the first 4 1/3. They can do nothing with them. They got the run on the solo homer to lead off an inning. Okay, again. Cruz, Lynch, Way, Morgan, 4 2/3 of scoreless relief. They gave up a walk and 2 hits, and that's it. Not going to win that way. You're just not going to win. Anyway, Fernando 1 for 2, walked twice, had the homer, and drove in that run. Other than that, it was Ty France 2 for 3 with a walk. He was on base 3 times. Cronenworth 2 for 4. Not much else there. Fermin had a hit. You know what I mean? So slim pickings for player of the game. Canning 3 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 65 pitches, gave up the homer. ERA at 6.67 with the record at 1-8 after taking that loss. Waldron 2 1/3, 2 hits, 2 runs. They were earned, 2 strikeouts. No walks for Waldron in his cauldron. Marinaccio a scoreless inning, and Brito a scoreless inning for the Padres. All right, we have some hardware to hand out, and we are not happy to do it.
Uh-oh, somebody messed up, and it's time to let them know with Who Fudged Up.
They scored 6 last night, but 3 of them were in the 10th inning, right? So you're 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. You leave 7 runners on, and you hit into 3 double plays, all of them ending innings. For the second straight day, you hit into 3 inning-ending double plays. So who fudged up? Very easy tonight with that brown matching the Padres uniform. Next up.
It's time to reveal who made the biggest under-the-radar impact with today's X Factor.
Man, it's got to be Jansen, right? Jansen was really good tonight. Carter Jensen leading it off. Carter Jensen for the Royals. 2 for 3, 2 runs scored and a walk, but that one of those 2 hits and the walk were back-to-back. The first 2 Royals runs were scored as a result of Jensen getting the inning started. He came around and scored on Lane Thomas's homer in the first, and then, of course, he was driven in the 3rd inning by Caglianone after drawing the walk. So under the radar, it is Jensen, and that leads me to.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
For the Padres, you got to go Fernando. 1 for 2 with the 2 walks, had the run scored. The RBI had the homer. 282 his average. He's been solid for the last 6 weeks, but nobody else has. So Fernando for the Padres. And then overall, Lane Thomas 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, had the 2-run homer, and that's a good place to start there. You know, Perez had the 2-run homer too, but I'd go Lane Thomas there. And then you got to give honorable mention to the bullpen. 4 2/3 scoreless innings for Cruz, Lynch, who got the win, Way, and Morgan. The series wraps up tomorrow, 11:10 Pacific first pitch. And I hate to tell you this, but what are you going to do? Herman Marquez is pitching tomorrow. You're just looking at a sweep here. It's not a pitcher's duel. You got Noah Cameron for the Royals. Thank God he's 5-7 with a 4.89. And you hope that the Padres can come through. They should have won the game last night. You're up 3 in extra innings, and you give up 4 in the bottom of the 10th, and you blow that one. and this team can't afford to blow anything. They're 2 games under 500. You know, you got the Yankees giving games to the Dodgers even right now as we speak last night, and they're postponed by rain as I'm doing this right now. But, you know, it's really tough right now for the Padres. 1 for 9, runners in scoring position, 7 left on base, 3 inning ending double plays just like yesterday. Getting nothing from Canning, nothing from Buehler. You know, you're getting nothing at all from the back end of the rotation. Hart got ripped last night. It's discouraging right now to be a Padres fan. Imagine how Preller feels. Imagine how Stammen feels. Imagine how the players feel, right? No one wants to lose like this. An average performance called by Stammen. Yeah, I would say an average performance at best, you know. I mean, they didn't get a lot going, and when they did, they didn't take advantage of it. Canning was okay at times, Waldron okay at times, but as, you know, per their form all year, they fudged it up. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You've got nothing from the back end of the rotation, really the front end either. Vasquez has been bad, and he's been out now. And then, you know, Pivetta and Musgrove and Darvish, but then also Michael King not pitching like an ace. So, I mean, I'd say with what this team has endured this year and the performances that we've been forced to watch day in and day out, it's a miracle that they're 2 games under 500, and Craig Stammen should get votes for manager of the year just for having this team 2 games under 500 with the way these guys look at what Manny hasn't done, what Merrill hasn't done, how bad Bogarts has been, Michael King up and down, no Pivetta. I mean, Stammen's done a wonderful job just to keep them where they are. What else is the guy supposed to do? He's the last person I'd look at as a problem right now. Absolute last. Point the fingers where they belong to be pointed. The pitching rotation and the offense. That's it. It's not rocket science. It's baseball. We'll talk to you tomorrow, or we'll see you tomorrow, or both, right? You never know. We're live on YouTube right after the game. Then we upload, you download Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, Amazon, wherever you get your audio version, as well as Roku as well. Over-the-top television, you're down with OTT. Yeah, you know me. I'm down with anything that'll get us some wins. Right now, it's Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, at Jim Grease _. Don't forget Javier Reyes day in and day out with your Padres podcast here on Locked On Padres. Again, 6-1 the final. The Padres, yeah, not even showing up today in KC. Thank you for making Locked On Padres your first listen or watch every day. For your second one, find the Locked On MLB Game Night. It's all night, every game, every night until a World Series champ is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Shout out to Javi Reyes, who, by the way, has been contributing to Locked On MLB Game Night and doing a good job there. Make sure you watch him, listen to him, watch me, listen to me. 11:10 first pitch tomorrow. Please don't get swept, San Diego. We will see you or talk to you then. In the meantime, Grease says peace. Keep your game tight and your mind right. Thank you for watching or listening to your Padres Postcast, Locked On Padres on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team, your pods, your Friars, every single